To be, isn't it? Got a warm weekend coming, but hey, got a little breeze. So we got a lot of our cooking done this morning. That stove behind me, you can't see the flames in it, but it's got a lot of radiant heat coming off that thing. Woo, man, it's warm. So we made a granny cake for our second shows this afternoon. We got the cook off at 3 o'clock. We're doing stew today. You guys come back. We got a show at, Mark will do a show at 12:30. I'll do another one at 1:30. I'll be talking about Dutch oven cooking, how I do it, tricks to the trade and all that stuff. Tonight, this morning, we're going to talk about coffee. A lot of you guys have tried some coffee this morning. Have we got any coffee drinkers out there? Man, we got a bunch of different folks. A lot of folks didn't raise their hand, Kenny. We're going to talk about how we make it, and how it was made on the cattle trail, and how I still make it at home today. You don't got to be outside on a fire to make it this way. This is the best way to make coffee. A little bit about myself. My name's Justin Jackson. I'm from Poto, Oklahoma. Anybody know where that's at? Do you know what we have there that's world famous? Anybody?
Buck.
Huh? Nobody knows?
What was the question?
What?
What was the question?
Do you know what we have? Can y'all hear me okay? Do y'all know what we have there that's world famous?
Oh, in your town?
In my town of Poto. I've been saying we say Poto. It's spelled P-O-T-E-A-U. It's French. It was a trading post. Post. It means post. Kind of boring, isn't it? Post. But we have the world's tallest hill. You knew, didn't you? No, it ain't Sugarloaf. It's Kavanaugh. Sugarloaf's actually a mountain. It's 2,999 feet. Kavanaugh Hill. So 1 foot for being a mountain. Y'all can Google her up. I'm not even playing around right now. We're gonna let the train go by, and I'll continue. Y'all wave. They may wave back. They wasn't very friendly, were they? Dadgum. Maybe they don't know we're here. So, this is Kenny Matlock, my buddy. He's with me a lot here at Silver City, and we cook on ranches, we cook at gatherings, chuck wagon gatherings, chuck wagon, some competitions, not in many competitions anymore, but we've cooked everywhere I've cooked everywhere from Texas to Wyoming and everywhere in between, and east and west and all that. So been doing it for a lot of years. Have a good time with it. This is our 4th year at Silver City, and so we're thankful to be back. We love coming, and because we get to share about the history a lot, about what we do and everything. And it's interesting. Our everybody's heard of a cowboy out there, right? A cowboy, cattleman, cowpoke. This whole genre, if you will, movement started from a simple from hunger. Okay, we had a supply and demand issue. We had a large supply of cattle in Texas, mainly Texas, that area, South Texas, millions of them after the war between the states, and we had a lot of hungry people. We had the South was pretty decimated. The North wasn't in great shape financially. We had more immigrants coming in, and with the South in the shape it was in, they had a lot of livestock, a lot of hogs, and you know, before this movement of cattle, this cattle boom era, beef wasn't super popular, right? It was pork was big time, you know, dairy cattle. There was beef cattle for sure, but it wasn't super popular. It was hard to preserve. Didn't preserve as well as pork did. And so game was still big. Deer, bear was huge. One of the biggest things that you ate in the like, especially 1700s, even early 1800s. Bear was very popular. But anyway, we had a supply and demand. The demand was to feed people and get them fed fast, and the supply was these cattle. But we had an issue. Okay, the closest railheads when they started ended in Missouri, here, and then you had these cattle down in Texas. That's pretty far apart, right? And you had to get them to these people to eat. Slaughterhouses, feedlots, you had to get them there, and so they had to drive them, push them. We call them drive, but they pushed them slowly, 10, 12 miles a day, anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 head of cattle, about 100 head of horses, and about 12 or 15 cowboys did this job. Took them about 3 months, 3.5. It depended on where they were going. They moved the railheads to Kansas. So that's how they did it. They didn't have 18-wheelers. We didn't have highway systems and stock trailers and all that. You had to push them and nudge them along, and that's what they did. And so this is where this comes from, or cowboy heritage comes from. That idea of supply and demand, feeding folks, and these guys learned how. And I'm gonna tell you something. These cattle. Does anybody have cattle at their house, on their ranch, their farm? So I have a lot. I have cattle. Kenny has cattle. These were wild cattle, right? And they say one of the meanest things on the planet at one time was a wild longhorn bull that had never seen a human being before. And I've never seen one. They don't exist anymore. They've never seen a human being before. A mature bull. I don't want to see one, to be honest with you. If I have a cow on my place that's a little wild, yeah, I ship it off and it finds a new address. It may go to this guy's house. He may not even know what he's getting, right? So I don't tolerate it much. Nobody really does anymore. You'll get hurt. They tear stuff up. They run through fences. They tear your gates up. These were all like that, okay? And so this was a job that was demanding, and it was, I would say daylight to dawn, but it was even longer than that. They worked during the nights and on shifts watching these cattle. But one thing they did, and they had a lot of, was coffee. Okay, anytime that chuck wagon was stopped, and it was stopped by late afternoon, and then all night long until they started back up, when they bedded the cattle down, coffee was always happening. It was always hot. There was at least 2 pots of coffee, or 2 pots in the wagon to 3, and they would make sure everybody, beside, even folks outside the cook, knew how to make coffee. They didn't touch anything else back behind his domain, around his wagon, but that's what everybody, usually most folks, knew how to make coffee. And so it's kind of a lost art today. It's one of the best ways to make coffee and drink coffee. We boil it, we cook it down, we cook the coffee, we call it. That's what I call it. My granny made it like this, and that's what I learned years and years ago. Everybody does it a tiny bit different. Mark does a little bit different than me, but it's all the same. Comes out pretty much the same. It's good because we actually boil the water. We put the grounds in there, and we boil the grounds in the water. So you're cooking it down. You get all the acidity out of it. So if you have acid reflux, you have no problem. And then there's no bitterness. We cook it where there's no bitterness in the beans. So anyway, we're going to talk about how we make it. You call it cowboy coffee, campfire coffee. We call it just coffee in my house. That's what we call it. So it's real simple. You need 4 things. You need a pot. And now let me tell you something. I've used the bean pot before. Okay, when I forgot my coffee pot, it works great, except when you're trying to pour the coffee out of it, it can get kind of complicated. So something with a spout works really well. There's one thing. You need coffee, grounds, okay, water, and a heat source. That's all you need. It's real simple to do, and I'm just going to tell you how we do it real fast. I'll fill this up with water about 1 inch below that spout. That's hot. About 1 inch below that spout right there. Okay, I'll put it on my heat source. Now at home, that's going to be my gas stove. I'll cook fib to you guys every morning I get up and build me a fire in my front yard and make my coffee. but I'd be fibbing. Okay, I don't do that. I actually use a heat stove. You can use a electric stove. They're kind of a pain, but you can use them. And I'll tell you why they're a pain in a minute. But boil your water. I get mine boiling. Okay, then I'm gonna take it off the heat. All right, turn it way down, or take it off the heat. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the lid off, and I'm gonna put coffee grounds in it. Okay, now it's about a quart of coffee. I need to look at my ratio because I don't measure anymore, but I think it's half a cup of coffee per quart of water. And it also depends on your beans and your grind. So you'll figure out once you get your pot and your coffee that you like, it'll be easy for you. I used 3 cups of grounds in this big pot this morning. 3 cups, or handfuls. They interchange, but somewhere around 3 cups. So I can double check it. I have a YouTube video on this. I should have watched it before I came up here. But I think it's a half a cup of grounds per quart of water is what it is. And again, that's going to be if you like it stronger or weaker or whatever. Put them directly in here. There's no filter in here. If you do get a pot and you got that percolator, the percolator guts in there, you just take them out and throw them in garbage. You don't need that. That's not a great way. To me, in my mind, you're just recycling that, and you end up burning it some if you're not careful. You gotta have that heat perfect. So you don't need a percolator. That's garbage. So throw that away. So you're gonna reintroduce this to heat. Okay. Now that means I'm gonna put it back on my stove, or I'm gonna turn my burner back on, right? And you gotta watch it. This is the only time. Do we have any lollygaggers out there? Yeah, we got 2 lollygaggers and probably 25 liars out there. What we got right now. So I've been known to lollygag a little bit. So by the way, leave the lid off. Grounds are in it. It's on the heat. I'm turning the heat up and I'm watching it. It's gonna rise. When it starts to rise, get a hot pad, pull it off the heat, or turn it down. If you have a gas stove, if you have an electric stove, you know this, it don't turn down automatically like your gas stove does. I've learned that the hard way over and over when I'm making coffee on electric stove. It never registered me until I'm watching it overflow like a volcano. Oh crap, sorry about your stove. All right, so turn the heat down. It will go right back down. Wait about 30 seconds. Turn the heat back up. It should. You may have to do it twice. Most time you gotta do it one time. It should start rolling over, boiling. Now I don't stir mine. You can, but you gotta watch it when you stir it. It'll do the same thing, right? So it's real simple. I don't want to freak y'all out, but it's real simple to do. Just watch it. Turn the heat down. It'll go back down. Once it starts rolling, boil, you're good. You're golden. Let it do its thing. Put the lid on it. Let it do that for about 4 to 5 minutes. 6. You don't gotta time it. Just let it go for a little bit, and then you're done. Turn the gas off, or take it off the fire or the stove, the electric stove, and you're done. I wait usually about a minute or so, and I get me a cup in a pot like this, a cup of tap water, creek water, something that's ambient. You don't have to be cold. You don't want hot water. And I'm just gonna pour that water right here on top of this, and it pushes all the grounds to the bottom. So all the grounds are at the bottom of this pot right now. If you got a smaller pot at home, half a cup of water, whatever. And that's it. Just all that cold pushes the grounds down. So you should not have any grounds in your coffee right now. You may have a speck or two, but you shouldn't really have any. And that's how simple it is. Yeah, real simple, real easy. And again, a lot of folks don't know how to make it that way. It's kind of been lost, and for some reason we've got away from it. But that's the only way they made coffee back in the day. Any questions about that method? Nobody? Did I explain it good?
Yeah.
Has anybody done that before at their house? Well, you can. You just got to grind them. Well, I don't know if it would extract and make coffee. When so because at the end of the day, that's when you're making the coffee. So we always got to grind the beans up. Yeah. And I use I just use a regular medium grind. So on the wagons, back in the day, and we do it today. So we got an actual grinder here. They didn't start selling. They didn't start selling roasted beans until around the early 1860s. So, yeah. Before that, you had to buy green ones and roast them yourself in an iron skillet. That was probably not really good. Could you imagine like making popcorn? Them beans were raw on one side, too toasty on the other side, and so yeah. I've never done that. I need to try it sometime. I've never done it. So any questions about what I've talked about or coffee making? Yeah, I've actually got my own. I got a guy that roasts for me, but you can use whatever you want to use, whatever you like. Coffee. Yeah, and I'll say this. I have a guy that roasts my coffee, and he does a good job, and I use it, and we sell some of it. But you can use any coffee. I would say doing it this way, because there is better beans than others. You know what I'm saying? There's better quality. I know there is for sure. But making coffee like this puts them on a more equal playing field. It really does. I got a story about a lady from our church years ago. We had a deal over at our house, and my wagon was out, and I made some coffee, and she come over, and she's what y'all would probably call a coffee snob. Big time. And she got my coffee, and she asked me what beans I was using. And I just played kind of dumb. I didn't answer the question. She drank it. She loved it. Went on and on about it. And later that day, she goes, well, I got to know what beans you use. And I said, I use ground Folgers from Walmart. Boy, she looked at me. She goes, don't you tell anyone. Don't you ever tell that story. So I did it anyway. I don't share her name, but anyway, it's funny. Any questions? Well, I've got some, listen, I can't hear y'all. I can't hear y'all. Yeah, they're hecklers, is what they are. All right, guys, well, listen, we got a show. Mark's got a show from 12:30. I'll be back at 1:30. I made granny cake for the second two shows. That's really good. It's one of my go-tos, and I said it was the first day, we might as well make it. I've got recipes on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. We got cross pins we love to give out up here. They're free. But you guys come get a biscuit and some coffee. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.